The University of the Bahamas to play a role in Grand Bahamas technology status, more help for fire victims in the mud, and the Anglican community mourning the death of one of their own.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the government of the Bahamas continuing its initiatives to promote Grand Bahama as the technology hub of the country. Tonight, the Minister of State for Grand Bahama says that education is the key to making this vision a success. The Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, continuing to promote Grand Bahama as the technology hub of the country. He notes that in this day and age, education and technology should go hand in hand. As the island prepares for what is expected to be a major revitalization through the technology sector, he says that the University of the Bahamas is making a commitment to this northern campus.
Moving their IT department to Grand Bahama, and because we are focused on developing Grand Bahama as the technology hub, they indicated during the technology summit that they were focused on moving their IT department. They were focused on bringing that to Grand Bahama, and that's something that we would encourage the university to do.
During a recent trip to the state of Texas, Minister Thompson says that government officials, including the nation's prime minister, were able to meet with a number of colleges and universities. He says some of those schools are also buying into the idea of becoming a part of Grand Bahamas' technology vision.
We also were hopeful about the universities that were there that indicated that they also wish to partner with the government and partner with the university to bring their IT departments and have that connection and partnership with with the IT here to also help build the capacity. And so again, we are hopeful that those partnerships will come together.
Minister Thompson also noting that the Ministry of Education recently appointed an acting Deputy Director of Technology and Innovation to further advance all schools in the technology arena. The attorney for one of the defendants dominating the morning session once again in the Barry and Sheena Johnson murder trial in the Supreme Court. As Italia Hall reports, it was another day on the stand for the chief investigating officer in the case.
The morning session began once again with Attorney Jeffrey Farquharson continuing his cross-examination of Sergeant 772 Lorenzo Johnson. Farquharson asked Johnson if his client, Paul Belizaire, told him that he tried to stop the shooting from taking place. Sergeant Johnson said he said something like that. Farquharson then asked Officer Johnson if he saw someone on the surveillance video trying to stop the shooting at the home of Barry and Sheena Johnson, but Sergeant Johnson said he did not know. Farquharson then asked for the surveillance video to be played. The video showed a man on the floor surrounded by 3 persons. The video showed one person touching the shoulder of another person as they pulled the trigger, shooting the man on the floor. After the clip played, Farquharson asked Johnson if he saw that as an attempt where the person tried to intervene. Johnson said that he did not know. Attorney Farquharson then asked Sergeant Johnson several times if he could remember if any of the suspects stated that Paul Belizaire tried to stop the shooting, but Sergeant Johnson countered by saying he does not know. Farquharson then told Officer Johnson that he was being dishonest, but Johnson disagreed. From there, Attorney Farquharson focused on Alan Alsame, who is now turned Crown. Farquharson asked Sergeant Johnson if he knew Alan Alsame. Officer Johnson said he met him once when he was assisting Officer 2509 Stephen Roll with an investigation, and he picked up Alsame from a business establishment. From there, Farquharson said that everyone in the court knows why Lenwood Neely was killed. Justice Estelle Gray Evans intervened and said that the court does not know. Prosecutor Erica Kemp raised the issue of relevance and said that Lenwood Neely is not a part of the trial. Justice Estelle Gray Evans told Attorney Farquharson to move on to the next question. Farquharson said Alsame was picked up on the suspicion for the murder of Lenwood Neely Jr. Prosecutor Neil Brathwaite objected. Farquharson continued and said that they shot Lenwood Neely for drugs. Sergeant Johnson responded by saying he did not know because the matter was unsolved. Farquharson said the matter was unsolved because the person who shot Lenwood Neely was allowed to turn witness for the Barry and Sheena Johnson murder, and therefore the Lenwood Neely case could not be solved. Attorney Farquharson also accused Sergeant Johnson of knowing that there is a link between the Lenwood Neely case and the Barry and Sheena Johnson case, but Sergeant Johnson said that he does not know about such a link. Farquharson then responded by saying that Alsame was an informant for the police and that the government withdrew the charge of murder from Alsame because he became an informant in this case. From there, Attorney Farquharson asked Sergeant Johnson to view a few photographs and identify a few things. Farquharson then asked for the surveillance video from Barry and Sheena Johnson's home to be played again. Now, shortly after that video was played, the morning session came to an end. Devon Hall, Paul Belizaire, and Kevin Dames are all accused of 2 counts of murder, 1 count of armed robbery, and robbing the victims of their car keys in GMC truck valued at over $8,000. Now the trial is expected to resume on Tuesday, February 13th. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
We now move to Abaco, where more help is coming in for fire victims. A blaze early Sunday morning left several families displaced. And as we hear in this report, the country's telecommunications giants are coming forward to help. They are often waging a silent competition for the title of telecommunications leader in the Bahamas. But in the time of tragedy, both BTC and Alive put their differences aside to provide aid for those in need. Following the devastating fire in the Mud Abaco, BTC's manager for customer experience, Carmen Williams, said they immediately activated their teams to distribute phone cards, cellular devices, food, and water.
We're going to give the location, the shelter, internet services, TV, so that they can be comfortable as though they were at home. And in addition to that, we're partnering with the Red Cross Society to also give the support to the shelter on a daily basis. And in addition, we're also activating at our retail store contribution bin, so that all those persons who want to contribute to the fire victims can bring in food items, cash, whatever they can to help out in the community for our victims.
Alive not far behind, providing food, snacks for the children, and clothing for those in need. Leave Allied partner Crystal Aubrey says they will also be bringing in additional supplies from their offices in Grand Bahama.
We're going to be providing a handset with an Alive SIM card to all affected victims. That SIM card will already have a $20 top-up credit on there so that we can get everybody back up and talking to who they need to. And tomorrow we'll also have teams on site at the shelter to be able to provide SIM swaps for those Alive users who lost their phones in the fire, so that they can get back their number, so that those people who are looking for them may be able to find them easier.
Both Williams and Aubrey say that it was a no-brainer to provide assistance to the residents that have become a big part of their organizations through employment and patronage.
Our Haitian community contribute to BTC in a vast way, mostly through their data services that they use. In addition, we're a corporate society, and we also want to be seen as a friend to the community and be compassionate to our fellow Haitian brothers and sisters, because oftentimes these are the students. They go to the same school with our children. We interact with them on a daily basis, and we just want to show our humanitarian side to our community at this time.
Since our launch, we have had strong ties to the Haitian community, and we want to make sure that that community can easily reach out to each other. It's a cause that's very near and dear to a lot of us in Alive's hearts. A majority of our staff is of Haitian descent, and also even with today's unfortunate tragedy, we had the persons who worked for Alive who were directly affected. So we want to not only show the community but also our staff that we care about them and are trying to help them.
The Christian community continues to mourn the passing of Anglican clergyman Father Michael Giddens. The rector of the Church of the Ascension passed away while preparing for Mass early yesterday morning. Church members filed into the sanctuary last evening for a service in his honor. Natalie Martinborough reports.
Parishioners of the Church of the Ascension were joined by members of the Anglican community for a service of thanksgiving for the life of their pastor, Father Michael Giddens. Assistant priest, Father Earl Hepburn, in sad reflection, calling the passing of Father Giddens a great loss for the Anglican Church.
Right now, our hearts are pained. Right now, we find ourselves in a state of shock and utter disbelief. Right now, we feel like this is deja vu, having just walked down this road before. Yet again, we find ourselves losing another priest whom we've loved. Right now, we need a shoulder to cry on.
A native of Barbados, Father Giddens joined the church family in August 2010 following the death of Archdeacon Cornel Moss.
For even after undergoing dialysis many a day, come rain or come sunshine, no matter how he felt, he was here. This morning when I got the news and Jill called me, and I rushed to his residence, and I discovered him there, half dressed with his cassock on, laying in the bed. The only thought that came to my mind was, be ye faithful unto death.
Mourners heard of his many contributions to the church throughout the country. He was remembered as a dedicated servant of God who was well loved.
He was indeed a good shepherd. In fact, I dare say, a great shepherd. And this is not just personal bias, but many can attest to the fact of him being a good shepherd who truly loved and cared for God's sheep. If you don't believe me, well, ask the people of the Church of the Ascension. And if you don't want to believe them, then ask the good people on Long Island.
I know up in heaven.
Archdeacon James Palacios traveled from New Providence to join in the special service. He recalled the fallen rector as a man of special qualities. He offered a song to comfort the mourning parishioners.
As Jesus took your hand and you stood before the Lord, he said, my child Michael, look around you. Great is your reward. Thank you for giving to the Lord. We are all lives that have changed. Oh, thank you for giving to the Lord. We are so glad you gave.
Natalie Martinborough, ZNS Network News.
Thank you for giving